Today, Imelda, Sauceda, and I are in the studio to talk about Pro One call centers and just how it started. And I thought Imelda is the perfect person to tell the story. And I'll go into some of how it's related to Newportmed, just so that everyone understands. And Newportmed, it is our sister company. And Newportmed is an owner along with Imelda. And so together we partnered and started Pro One call centers. And I just thought it'd be great for Imelda to kind of tell the story. And so Imelda, why don't we go back to before Pro One was in existence? You convinced me to do something that I was completely against, but we were stuck. If I remember right, we were just stuck where we needed more bilingual patient reps. And
so it was literally right when the pandemic started. Everyone was faced with staffing challenges. We weren't immune to that. We also were facing our own challenges. A lot of people were looking for remote work, unable to come to the office due to the pandemic. Therefore, we decided we needed to look for other options. One of the ideas that I had was to use a company out of Mexico that had bilingual agents. I was familiar with the company and decided that it would be a good option for us to try. Came to you, talked to you about the company. They were very good when we utilized them at the previous company I was at. But what I found myself doing was training their staff up all the time. And so what was happening is we would train their staff up and then they would move their staff on to other accounts. So then that's when I said,
so I remember I was very worried about nearshoring in the first place, right? Especially patient reps. But you kept your finger on the pulse of everything that went on, and the other things that you had accomplished leading up to that. I knew if it was going to work out, you needed to oversee it. But then I remember hearing you coming back saying, I'm making this company a better company, and it's because of the training and the work that and oversight we're putting into it.
Yes, because we were literally, when I said we were training them as if they were our employees, because I do think it's important that when you are nearshoring or offshoring, you have to treat that staff the same way you would treat your own staff. So, and what I mean by that is giving them the right training, the right education, the right tools for them to be able to do their job. And we were making sure that the staff that was being provided to us was receiving that. So they were going through the same training curriculum as us. They were having the biweekly huddles just like us. We had quality improvement meetings with them. And so what I found is we were developing some really good employees for this company.
And so that company was taking the good employees that we turned into great employees through the Newportmed way, and they were moving them on to probably deal with other challenging clients and other challenges.
Yes, and so then that's when I approached you and said, well, if we're putting in this much effort into someone else's company, it makes more sense for us to go ahead and open up our own call center, in the same area. And I wanted it to be in the same area for a couple of reasons. One, I was familiar with the area. And two, because I knew that the population in Monterey were all, most of the people there know English. They either went to school, learned English, or maybe at one point or the other lived in the States. And so we wanted to make sure that we had really good English-speaking reps on the phone. And I was familiar with the area, and I wanted to continue with that population of candidates taking, on these roles for patient reps.
So the convincing happened. The other part is knowing you and your heart, and we mentioned this before, but being a heavy lifter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where when you set your mind to something, you will do anything and everything required to make it come to fruition. And so Pro One call centers, POCC, was born.
Yes.
And immediately it was successful.
Yes. And so think about it. We actually were using that other company around March, and I think we kept them for about 6 months. I went to Mexico, did my research, and we had our first staff by that following March. So March 2021, we had our first group of staff, and we have grown significantly since then, and not only offer patient billing service reps, but we've expanded our services to other things such as scheduling, and I see a lot of more opportunities right around the corner for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has been interesting because patient services is not something that you really get compliments from a client on. Normally when you do a good job, you hear nothing. But we have gotten a few clients to compliment the encounters they've had with our agents, and we've also had a few complaints, which is normal. But because we go the extra mile, we record any and all conversations that are being had. We've been able to share those conversations with the clients and let the clients decide for themselves if that complaint was valid. And several times we've had the client call us back and tell us, I'm sorry, but your agent was amazing, and I'm just going to apologize for the way the patient treated the agent. So it's been a really neat success story. So where do you see the future? I know we got some changes we've been discussing.
So I think we have a very sturdy foundation. So I think we are ready for growth. I think initially when we first started the company, it really was not necessarily a Band-Aid, but it was a solution because, like I mentioned, everyone else was struggling with staffing as we were, and we got over that hurdle. We have a really good core of staff working for us, and now we're able to expand the staff. And like I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and offer services for scheduling. There's a couple other things that we're looking into doing. I just think that the company's going to continue to grow, and more we're integrating them with NMS. It almost seems seamless. The staff see each other as all working for one company. From the very beginning, when we started the company, we adopted the same values because we're treating them exactly like we would our own employees. And so it's been seamless this entire time. Even though they're called Pro One call centers, it's really all one company.
And it was seamless even as a startup, which is not always the case. But Pro One now, it's 3 years old? So it's no longer a startup or an infant company. It's a toddler company, and it is absolutely walking on its own 2 feet and providing services outside of Newportmed, which was generally why we started it. We knew there was opportunity, and so those opportunities are coming to fruition. For me, the most exciting part is adding another layer of services like appointment scheduling, which is becoming harder and harder here in the States to staff.
Yes.
One of the things I've been excited about is it's added another layer of services that Newportmed's able to offer to clients, and something that we've never even considered is patient appointment scheduling. So that kind of talk about how that came to fruition.
So our name got out there with an association that we're part of. They already are very familiar with Newport Medical Solutions. They knew that we had started a sister company, and we were using them for Newportmed clients. And because they trusted Newportmed, they decided to approach us and ask us if we would consider doing other services other than patient billing. And that's how patient appointment started. And actually now we're being recognized for doing a really good job in appointment scheduling, and that side of the business has grown tremendously as well. But I do think it's because of the reputation that we already had established, them knowing that it was part of Newport Medical Solutions, that we trusted to use them for our own clients, then they would trust us too.
Imelda and I are here in studio talking about kind of the evolution of our nearshore sister company, Pro One Call Centers. And just thought it would be a great time to remind all of my RCM colleagues that we get to talk about it in greater detail and go through kind of what to look for and what we did and why we did and how we did it. later on this year at the HBMA's annual conference in September. So if you're interested, meet us there, and we'd love to have you hear us and ask us any and all questions you might have. There's some significant advantages of having a call center, patient-facing agents near shore.
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you talk about some of those advantages?
So one of them is obviously they're going to have a different level of English because the majority of them have taken English at one point or the other. It's part of their school curriculum. They'll go to school sometimes in the States and then return to Mexico, so they understand the language.
That's one of the things I was so impressed with. Is several of the guys understood the slang that I was using.
Yes.
Because they've gone to school here in the States and have moved back to be closer to family or for work, or so that was one of the things that I've seen firsthand that I thought, wow, this is good.
So culturally, they're very similar,
right.
And that really helps. That's a benefit. That's an advantage. And so when patients are interacting with the staff, again, it's not any different than if they were interacting with an agent located here in Frisco, Texas with us.
Yeah. The other advantage that I saw is just the work environment between the U.S. and Mexico. It's so similar that you really can't tell a difference.
No, not at all. And again, we are training them up like they're our own employees, and so they have the same culture. So we train the staff the same way we train our stateside staff, and so they're learning the culture, they're learning the expectations, they're learning the NMS way, and that's why the staff are able to produce the quality work that they're producing.
Yep, it's been amazing. So one of the things that I was so impressed with when I was there, one, I felt like I was with family, and two, I felt like they were family.
Yes.
And so is that something that was intentional? Is that just part of the culture normally? But there's a very tight bond with everyone there.
So I do think it's part of the culture. They all seem to get along very well. They treat each other like family. But I also want to add that is one of our core values, and we emphasize the importance of family. And so that has, transitioned over to our sister company, and you can see how close everybody is, and they really care for each other. And I think that makes a difference. When you get along and you care for each other, you just have a better team.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks, Imelda, for just spending some time and giving me a little bit more understanding with Pro One. And we just want the world to know about Pro One. But if you're interested or want any details, we're going to give you our contact information. And so please reach out to us. We'd love to talk through things with you and show you why we're so proud of Pro One and who they are.
And so you can reach us at info@pro1cc.com.